Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to lesson 19 in Aqeedah, Matters of Belief. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa afdal salati wa tamu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So we continue in Aqeedah and with Sheikh Ahmad al-Marzuki's poem, and we continue on in prophethood. We're looking at the next set of prophets that are mentioned, those mentioned in the Quran that we believe in. لوط وإسماعيل وإسحاق كذا يعقوب يوسف وأيوب اهتدى. So we're going to see the first three, as mentioned in this poem, the first three on the first line. Prophet Lut alayhi salam, Prophet Ismail, and Prophet Ishaq. So they're all connected to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, who we just saw in the previous episode. And Prophet Lut was his nephew, and he was sent to the people of Sodom in Jordan. And there was such a people who took on this sin of sodomy, which is a man finding another man attractive and a woman finding another woman attractive, as it comes in the ayah in the Quran. وَلُوطٌ إِذْ قَالَ لِقَوْمِهِ أَتَأْتُونَ الْفَاحِشَةَ مَا سَبَقَكُمْ بِهَا مِنْ أَحَدٍ مِّنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. And Prophet Lut alayhi salam, when he said to his people, do you commit such shameful acts? أَتَأْتُونَ الْفَاحِشَةَ, do you commit such sins? مَا سَبَقَكُمْ مِنْ أَحَدٍ مِّنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. No one has preceded you that has come with such a sinful act. So this was Shaitan, him again. Now he came in the form of a beautiful man, and he showed them another way of pleasure, another way of satisfying their desires. So this is generally this whole story and of Prophet Lut alayhi salam, and how his people were then punished by being raised, the earth being raised by an angel and then being smashed back to the earth. This is mainly about how Islam is, we do not like going against the natural disposition of man, of woman, which is that the other half of a male is a female, and vice versa, not male to male and female to female. So this is generally to do with that ayah and verses, mainly to do with this story of Prophet Lut alayhi salam, that we can extract this thing about how we do not like the act. Yeah. About the person, that's different. We show good nature to humans, we have that kind of good friendly nature to people, whatever, but the issue is about the act. We dislike the act, not the person. So we really have to try and remember that focus as well. So Prophet Lut alayhi salam was sent to such people. وَإِنَّ لُوطًا لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And Lut, he is one of the messengers. So it's mentioned in the Quran that Prophet Lut alayhi salam, so we believe in Prophet Lut. And then we have Prophet Ismail and Prophet Ishaq, both of them, they are the sons of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And Prophet Ismail, so he was left, his mother was the Egyptian princess, that Hajra, and they both, his mother and himself, were left in the desert of Arabia in Mecca, as was the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So his story goes that he, as a baby, is crying in the desert, and it's such a non-vegetative place. There's no, it's a place where there's nothing really growing. There's nothing really to keep one alive. However, he found that Zamzam as a baby, as a child, he was kicking the rocks, and from there the Zamzam water came out. And then his story as well, it continues that he helped his father when his father did return, Prophet Ibrahim, and they built the Kaaba together. They built that Kaaba with that one opinion as they actually were the ones who first built it, or the other opinion that it was actually Prophet Adam alayhi salam who built it right at the beginning, but over time, because it's in a valley, and then how with the floods and everything, it covered it up again, and over time, but they were the ones to rebuild it again. So that's the other opinion. But he was in that with that religious place, that religious, how our focus and our Qibla is the Kaaba, and in Makkah al-Mukarramah. So he was part of that story. His story continues as well with as a child he was one that was sacrificed. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was commanded, this was a test for Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, at the age of 80, when he finally had his son, and he was commanded to slaughter his son, to perform the sacrifice of his son. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam did not flinch. He carried out the command. However, it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who can make a knife not cut as it did not cut Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaced it with the ram, and that was the qurbani, that was the sacrifice, as that we follow that Abrahamic and tradition from Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, he also then grew up to be to be a prophet, as it comes in the Quran. واذكر في الكتاب إسماعيل إنه كان صادق الوعد وكان رسولا نبيا. I mentioned in the book Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, who was indeed true to his promise, and he was a messenger, a prophet. وكان يأمر أهله بالصلاة والزكاة وكان عند ربه مرضيا. He used to enjoin prayers and charity, and his Lord was well pleased with him. So here Allah was pleased with Prophet Ismail Islam, but what was in that sentence, in the ayah? Prayers and charity, enjoying that on the family. So that's two key things that you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with you: as-salah, as-zakah. So make sure we pay our obligation to charity, and of course, if you do more, that is following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Prophet Ismail, he was from among the Jurum tribe. He's the third Arab prophet. We mentioned the two before, Prophet Hud and Prophet Salih. Now this is alayhim salam. Now this is Prophet Ismail, another Arab prophet, because his mother was an Egyptian. And the Jurum tribe settled around them, and he married from the Jurum tribe as well, and then he made the Arabic language. He chose it because before, like as the previous prophets who had lived in that area, generally in that peninsula, Arabian Peninsula, Prophet Hud, Islam, Prophet Salih, they were known as the Arab al-Ariba. So they were known as a type of Arabs. Now with this Prophet Ismail, they're known as the Arab al-Musta'riba. So he plucked out the words from he chose the most eloquent words, most clear words that are not difficult to say on the tongue or to hear on the ears, and he chose the language, and he made Arabic in that very in the perfect sense. And Prophet Ismail al-Islam, he was also very good at horses. He tamed the horses. They were wild across Arabia. He taught all that husbandry and all that to do with horses, and he had tamed them. And then the Arabs, they had such, the Arabian horse is such a prized thing in today's society, as it was previously as well. So Prophet Ismail taught that as well, and that is the story of Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. He was also, as I said, that he was made as a sacrifice. This is also as a comparison to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His father Abdullah, he was also chosen as a sacrifice as prophet, as grandfather Abdul Muttalib. When he found the Zamzam, and he said that he made a vow, this oath, and yesterday's hadith session was about making oaths and vows that a Muslim, once he makes one and he says Wallahi, by Allah, he uses Allah's name, and then he should carry out and fulfill that oath. However, as I mentioned, there is that expiation, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us that ways out if you make an oath about something but we're not able to fulfill it, as was mentioned yesterday. So Prophet, as Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made an oath that he would, if he had 10 sons, he would sacrifice one of them, and that was to be Abdullah, the Prophet's father. So now he wanted to get out of this, so he went to one of these a woman who was known as like a soothsayer. She knew things of the spiritual kind as well, and she said that you need to draw lots, 10 camels against Abdullah, and you keep on doing it until it comes in favor of Abdullah, so then he won't be sacrificed. And it came to about, so it was 10, so it took 10 times until 100 camels, then it was in the favor of the short straw was for the camels, that they were the ones who were going to be sacrificed. So then Abdullah was free from, he didn't have to be, Abdul Muttalib didn't have to carry out that sacrifice on his beloved son, the father of the Prophet ﷺ. So this is a comparison that Prophet Ismail, he had the sacrifice story, and then the father of the Prophet ﷺ, he had a sacrifice story as well. Then we go to Ishaq alayhi salam. It comes in the Quran, قُولُوا آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ وَالْأَسْبَاطِ. So this is now, and say, O Muslims, we believe in Allah and that which has been sent down to us, وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ, and that which has been sent down to Prophet Ibrahim, to Ismail, to Ishaq, to Yaqub, and the Asbat, which was the 12 sons of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. So we mentioned 12 sons of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. we also have of Prophet Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. So this is Prophet Ishaq's son, Prophet Yaqub. Now we're going into 12 tribes. They break up into 12 to the 12 sons, the 12 asbat. We have a similar thing for Prophet Ismail. He has qaba'il. They're going to 12 tribes in the Arab tribes that then habited Arabia. The comparison between the two as well, Prophet Ishaq, his wife, his mother was Sarah, the wife of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was the youngest from Prophet Ismail was the elder brother, Prophet Ishaq was the younger brother, and from Prophet Ishaq came the Banu Israel. His name was also Israel, meaning it meant in the Hebrew language, it meant like Abdullah, and servant of Allah. And Prophet Ismail, he also had 12 sons, and from him, it was not the Banu Israel, it was the Muslims. Now, because there's only one prophet from that side, and that was there's only one prophet from that side, which was going to be Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the rahmatul lil alameen, the mercy to all mankind and universe. Whereas Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, that's where the Jews came from, and the Banu Israel, and they had many prophets that came to the Banu Israel. They had many prophets, whereas on Prophet Ismail alayhi salam's side and lineage, it was only that one prophet, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam, he was he had then a son Yaqub alayhi salam, and inshallah in the next episode we will see Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam with Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, his son, and then we'll come to Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. Wa sallallahu Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.